Joe Flacco back in the news, revealing the hardest thing about resigning with the Bengals. He said, and I quote, "The hardest thing for me is probably coming to grips with the fact that I might not play. I felt like I had to be careful with certain decisions. I don't want to be in another situation where I'm going to be playing 4 games like I did last year in Cleveland. I was a little bit nervous about that for whatever reason, and kind of getting thrown under the bus. I think there was a time to be that guy, but I don't know if I was willing to do that. It just felt right in the gut." Flacco also said, "I think I can get caught up in all of that and say, why not me, and be bitter about it. I probably do feel that way." Paraphrasing, yeah, it made me mad a little bit. "But at the same time, I'm very happy to be here. I had a lot of fun with Joe, and Joe's the guy. And believe me, I wish I was the guy somewhere. And I think teams are dumb for not having me be that guy." Flacco is not necessarily bitter about it, but he is definitely not thrilled about the fact that, teams weren't giving him the opportunity to play, as far as be not only play but also be the guy for their team. And he's feeling away about that. My take on it is this. I think Flacco has to understand more from where the front offices are coming from, because it's not like he hasn't had a chance to be the guy. Flacco has actually had, in my opinion, one of the unique situations, I guess you could say, because he's had a chance to simply be the guy in Baltimore, won a Super Bowl, did everything you probably would want to do as the guy. Like, obviously, everybody wants to be Tom Brady, right? Everybody wants to have the Super Bowls and everything like that. But everybody doesn't get a chance to be Tom Brady. So as far as having a career, as far as having longevity, I think he has probably had one of the better situations, in my opinion, because if you think about it, like I said, he's had a chance to be the guy in Baltimore. And he had a chance to be the guy in Baltimore. Won the Super Bowl, then fill the role of a veteran when Lamar Jackson obviously was drafted. He, kind of was the vet and then mentored Lamar Jackson, and we see what Lamar Jackson is right now. And people could argue that they picked, Lamar Jackson over Flacco, which I don't think anybody would. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I don't think anybody would say that's a bad decision. I'm just saying. 2-time MVP. I mean, I think that was a smart decision. Anyway, I think Flacco has to understand where the front offices are coming from in these situations, because you have to also realize and come to grips with the fact that what teams are losing by, giving Flacco to start. And it's not like he just had a chance to start last year in Cleveland. And I know he said that wasn't like a full opportunity, but it still is chances to start. The way I look at it is, if you have a opportunity to start in any situation at this stage of your career and you are Joe Flacco, you should be happy with it. I know that sounds kind of messed up, but I'm just being real. You should be happy with it at this point, because at this point of your career, you should be career backup at this point. Like, I'm talking about, you might play if 2 of our starters get hurt. Like, it should be something like that. And like, if you look at just going off of age and things like that, it could be the other way around. So the fact that teams are still giving you the opportunity to even be on the field and take starting reps is, in my opinion, respect. And Flacco has done nothing, in my opinion, but I guess you could say show out in his time of being put in situations over the last couple years. And now I will say this to his point, and I don't even know if this is what he was talking about with the uncertain situations, but I'm just going to go with it in this instinct. As far as the certainty of it, I do believe that he's been, I guess you could say, kind of dealt a bad hand in that. And I'm only saying that because a lot of times when Joe Flacco has been, the starter, or he's been on teams, it always feels, for whatever reason, other than maybe the Cleveland situation last year, it always feels, in my opinion, kind of rushed. It's always a thing of, okay, they went with Flacco and now it's just that's what they're going with, and it's like Flacco has to. I feel like Flacco has to adjust a lot. Flacco has to kind of get used to a system pretty quickly. And now, granted, that's every free agent. If you're a free agent and you're not a franchise guy, any free agent or player that's not a player that's not a big name guy, you're coming in midway through the season. Excuse me, my allergies. Anyway, but you're coming in midway through the season. Of course, you have to adjust a little. Kind of on the fly. That's kind of what your role is at that point. Like, you don't have the ability to be comfortable in a system as you would want to be. Yeah, you don't have the position to be privy on certain things. Excuse me. But that's kind of your role, in my opinion. I think that your role, in my opinion, is as a free agent or not, or like I would call Flacco at this point like I guess a bridge quarterback, but it's kind of not even that. It's kind of he's an occasional starter quarterback. Put it like that. He's a good one, but I'm just saying he's an occasional starter. He's a good one though. When you're in that position, you kind of have no choice. That's what you signed up for. You signed up to be a guy that's not going to be as locked in as a starter. You might not have a job come the regular season. So at least starting off the regular season, you might not have a job. You're not going to be fully prepared as far as the team prepping you and getting you certain weapons. Because, I mean, what team goes into a season and say, okay, let's get some weapons and let's build a functional system around our occasional starter quarterback? No team is doing that, because number one, that's a waste of money, and number two, if he's not your starter, what are you building a team around him for? Because a lot of teams' motto goes off of, okay, let's be honest. I mean, we're all NFL fans here or sports fans here. We know how this goes. If your starter is hurt, more than likely your team is, for that season, is probably done. And I hate to say that, but it's just the facts. Your team is probably done if your starter gets hurt. So I feel like that Flacco has a point as far as being kind of privy on certain things and in certain situations. And I don't even know if this is what he was talking about, but I'm just saying he does have a point on these things. But at the same time, so do the teams. Because, once again, Flacco hasn't been a consistent starter since, I guess you could say, New York. I guess you could say. If you want to say maybe New York. I mean, if you want to be real, we can go back to Baltimore. And that was in, 2018? So, I'm sorry. What was that? 2017? 2018? So he hasn't been a consistent starter in a long time. So his time of being, filled in on details and knowing certain things and the team kind of treated him with certain respect. Now, obviously, they're going to treat him with different respect than they would like a rookie backup, because he is Joe Flacco. He does have over 40,000 yards career passing. He is a Super Bowl MVP. He does have a Super Bowl ring, right? He is a comeback player of the year. He has accomplishments. He's done things. He's accomplished in this league, in the National Football League. Joe Flacco is an accomplished player in this league. Nobody can take that away. Nobody can say, people can say what they want about him, his character, whatever you say about him. Make sure you put Super Bowl champion in front of it. But So they're going to show him that much respect because he is a established, accomplished veteran. Nobody's taking that away from you. But as far as being given certain opportunities, I feel like that ship is kind of sailed. Like, and I feel like it's just something that he's right to feel like that he should have a starting position. Everyone is, I guess you could say, allowed to feel a certain way. You're allowed to be hurt over certain things. You're allowed to feel a certain way about certain things. Nobody's taking that away from Flacco. But as far as coming to grips with things, I feel like that he probably should look at it as more team-wise. Excuse me. Look at it more from the team perspective because, I mean, I'm just being real. What contending team, or team for that matter, is bringing in Joe Flacco to be the franchise guy in 2026? And that's no flack on him. There's no flack on his accomplishments. There's no flack on anything like that. But I'm just being real. What team is going to bring in Joe Flacco in 2026 to be the franchise for the moment quarterback? It's when you have the draft, you have free agency, you can trade for a quarterback. It's so many other options that you can do as far as shooting for that. And this is not anything against Joe Flacco, which is real. Why sign Joe Flacco when I can go to the draft and get a new quarterback? Or I can go in free agency and get a used quarterback but still has potential. The other day on the channel, we were just talking about Tua Tagovailoa. He went to the Falcons. The Falcons, he's a used quarterback, but he has talent. He has potential. He's still young. Yes, he struggled with injuries, but he still has a lot to offer a team. But you know what also, and this is so wrong, but you know what also hurts Flacco? He's also the oldest quarterback in the league. So it's not, think about it from a marketing standpoint. You have to get your fan base excited for Joe Flacco, the oldest quarterback in the league, to be your guy running out there on opening day. On opening day, you have to sell jerseys around this. You have to get your fan base hype about this. No team is more than likely going to take that chance when they have other options that fans will genuinely be excited about. Because Joe Flacco, let's be real. You signed Joe Flacco. Are your fans really like, oh, I'm going to go to the game now because we got Joe Flacco? Like, it's just a question you have to ask. So, think of people like Tua. Teams will give quarterbacks like that a chance over quarterbacks like Flacco. So I think the approach or the message to gain from this situation is Flacco 100% has the chance to feel this way or has the right to feel this way. I just think that as far as him, feeling a certain way about not having certain opportunities from teams, I think that he should probably look at it as more not a flack on his talent, because he's talented. Like, he's in the NFL, he's talented. Okay, he's a talented quarterback. But teams rather take chances on younger prospect quarterbacks than older quarterbacks that you kind of know what you're getting. And we're going to talk about this later this week, probably tomorrow. But Flacco has fallen into that category of being good enough. And when you get to that, when you get to that category of being good enough, two things happen. One, you're probably never going to get like a real fair starting, this is your team opportunity again. You're always going to have someone probably looking over your shoulder. That's one. Or two, you're probably always going to fall into what Joe Flacco was talking about, which is not being informed on information and probably being slotted in as a backup quarterback for the rest of your career. Not saying that's a bad place to be. It's just what it happens to be when you get down to the nitty gritty of things. Teams just don't like that. They don't like where you are, and they rather take chances on younger, more exciting, more athletic, more hyped up, more potential that they haven't seen yet quarterbacks than the proven vet that they probably know what they're getting. Teams tend to go for option A rather than option B. So I just think that's what the situation is. But Flacco definitely didn't hold back on letting people know where his mind was going into the season. And he even still gave Joe Burrow his props and let Joe Burrow know that he is the guy in Cincinnati. I mean, not that Joe needed to be reminded of that because he went, everybody knows Joe Burrow is the guy. But I'm glad that he is not bitter about it. But I also like the fact that he stood on business and let the NFL know what's what and how he feels going into this situation. So I hear you, Flacco. I definitely understand where your mindset is as far as teams not giving you a shot. But understand that you have also had probably one of the most successful longevity careers of all time. So count your blessings in that situation. That's what I would suggest. But shout out to Flacco for letting his opinion be known, because he definitely stood on business as far as that department. He let his opinion be known loud and clear. So shout out to Flacco on that.